I'd rather tap out before that. So this particular order is headed to Hawaii. And, I'm super thankful. I'm super thankful that I have people willing to buy my stuff all over the country. I don't ship international. And you're going to say, why do you not ship international? Well, I'm going to tell you at the very beginning, when I first started doing my clothes, I ended up getting an order from the Middle East, and they ordered a bunch of stuff. And I was like kind of excited about it. And I remember I was telling my dad, like, look at this, like, it's going like international. I used to sell to every country. And maybe about 2 months later or something, I ended up getting contacted by my bank. And I noticed they withdrew like X amount. And then I had asked them why. And then they said it was because credit card fraud. And then I was like, what are you talking about? And then they gave me all the information. Comes to find out it was that order to the Middle East. And then I asked the credit card company, so what can I do about it? What can I do about it as a business? And they said, don't sell out of United States because we have no jurisdiction anywhere else. And I was like, that is the stupidest thing. So now I just don't take my chances because why risk it, you know? Like, how often am I going to get an international order? And when I do, like, I've sold to Germany and a few other countries and stuff. And even then I'm kind of scared, but they end up ordering direct, and like they'll contact me and I'll do all the paperwork, but it's a hassle dealing international, so I just don't do it. I don't know. I'm sure there's a better way to do it and everything, but just for me and my limited means, I'll stick to United States. I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I have my store until April 2026. Well, until May 2026. And I'm pretty sure I want to get rid of it. It's just not necessary nowadays. I love having it. I love talking to all the random people that come by and the social aspect of it. But it's really a unnecessary expense for me. And I'm thinking about getting rid of it. But at the same time, it's like if I get rid of the store, what do I do with my brand, Do I just accept maybe it's the end of the era? And from that point, what do I do? But to be fair, for probably the last, since COVID, I've had the same thoughts in my head every year. Getting rid of the store, getting rid of my brand. What am I going to do? Should I stop it all? And it's still that thought, But I'm thinking, like, I could do an online store and I could still do everything. And it's just like I said, if you follow these vlogs, So much has changed. So much has changed within the industry. So much has changed with customer habits. I just don't know if it's the way to go. I used to have a lot more joy doing it. And I used to be a lot more excited. And I just noticed that I'm not as excited as I once was. I think it's just because everything that entails to it. And there is a part of it that's sad. I mean, I'm 48 years old. I've had some customers that have been wearing my stuff for the last 14 years. Like, that's a long run, you know? That's a long run to do anything. So how can you expect them to stay with you for that long? And it's amazing that some people have, and I appreciate them, but I kind of feel like I've done it all. So unless I can find some kind of spark and some kind of, new thing that, like a rejuvenation of energy and inspiration, I just don't see how I can keep the ball rolling. I just don't understand that part. But again, anyone that knows me, I've been saying the same thing for the last several years. I thought I was done at 45. I don't know. I could probably last till 50. But even then, I was, the baristas were talking to me today and they were saying, like, how is everything? What did I do before I did this? And they were asking me about my brand. And I was just telling them that so much has changed. And I don't know how long I can keep it going. And like I said, it's not because of business or financial. It's just ideas and joy. Because I feel like I've made everything that I've wanted to make. I've created everything that I've wanted to do. I just don't know. There has to be something. Like, there has to be some kind of what do you call those? Like paddles? Like, there's got to be some paddles on the inspiration and bring it back to life. So one thing that I think about, and it's kind of like when Mike Tyson came back to fight, and you're like so excited for him to do it again, and you're like, damn, he got his ass beat. And you kind of think, man, it was better if you just retired when you did. Same thing happened to like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan. There's a time when you can end on top. It's not what people want, but it's sad to watch people just slowly tank. And I've seen it with a lot of brands that stuck around too long. I've seen it with a lot of people known for something that stick around too long. And I guess maybe that's my fear too. I don't want to be that guy that stuck around too long. Now that I say it out loud, that's exactly what it is. I don't want to be the guy that's stuck around too long and started doing stupid things like, when it's time to call it quits, and then before you know it, I start making the stupidest stuff just to make a buck, and I'd rather tap out before that. Just like this vlog. I think that's about it. This is a realistic day of what my life is like. And if you were to add in tacos. But besides that, this is what life is. So I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for listening to my nonsense.